Okay, we're out here at Cooper Farms today, and I'm with Chase and Kitty Cooper, and they have a wonderful nursery, and we wanted to show you guys what they are doing out here because they have an incredible setup and they have some exciting future plans. All right, now we'll roll right into it.
Okay, so then we got to talk. So what? So you guys are going to ask us why we started a nursery?
We'll go ahead and start it now.
Because you started it for different reasons than I did.
So Chase, we were talking earlier, and you said you're from here.
I'm from here.
Kitty, you're from here, and Chase, you're from Wisconsin.
Yes, sir.
What brought you down from Wisconsin?
My dad moved down here in 2012, and he's my only parent I have left, and I just moved down to live closer to him.
Okay, so you came down here because of other circumstances, not because of something you really wanted.
No, just come down to live closer to family.
So here we are. So tell us a little bit about you guys. How did y'all first meet?
Facebook.
Yeah.
Facebook?
She had been stalking me for about 5 years on Facebook.
Other way around. Other way around.
No, we just had mutual interest, and we were friends on Facebook, and just started chatting. We both like hunting, fishing, plants.
I think we actually met on a trapping group on Facebook.
Oh, wow.
I think we did. I think that's where I first added you on, was for a trapping group for hunting and stuff. But I used to grow and, well, I don't used to, I still do, grow and sell garden starts and like heirloom varieties, and did a lot of seed saving and breeding projects. And you were doing blueberries and worm castings and stuff. So I was like, he's got that gold worm castings. I need to come get some of that.
Okay, so you guys met on mutual Facebook sites and you decided to come together. How long have y'all been together?
We've been married for 2.5 years now.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Married for 2.5. I don't know. Chasing me for 5.
So you guys immediately went right into opening a nursery because you guys have been open a little over a year or so now.
Yeah, I think we're about hitting, 2-year mark, 2.5-year mark. We were backyard growers for a while,
growers.
you know, and we just did it kind of because it was a hobby for both of us, and we had a lot of friends, you know, plant people find other plant people in their life, you know, and so we eventually were just kind of selling to our friends, and you already had kind of your group down here when I met you, but then I also had my group too, so we kind of combined customers, I guess you could say, and then it kind of just kept on growing and growing from there, so.
So you kind of stumbled into the whole nursery thing. You started off in your backyard, growing a few plants, selling a few plants, and then you just decided one day, hey, let's get a nursery license.
Yep, that was it. I mean, I actually quit my job for my garden that I had, and I was selling garden starts. So I was a single mom at the time. That was before I met Chase. So I already kind of knew that was the path I wanted to travel, was the horticulture path, because that's been my whole life. But I didn't ever think to really go outside of my garden starts and my heirloom varieties and stuff. And so when I met Chase, which I've always loved, I have tons of fruit trees and blueberry bushes still, but he kind of had me go down that path, and then we just kind of joined forces where we wanted a nursery that was focused on edible plants and trees, but also for our specific area. Because one thing that we noticed was people were having a hard time finding fruiting varieties that were within our chill hours. And we would go to Lowe's looking for fruit trees for us, and you know, Home Depot and even other nurseries looking for fruit trees for us, and it was like Macintosh apples and things that just were never, you know, Bartlett pears, things that were not going to even,
stuff that don't grow here.
Doesn't grow down here. And so that's kind of where we started realizing, look, if we can't find it, you kind of have to grow it yourself.
To grow it yourself,
grow it yourself, so then it just kind of
that's going to lead into the next question I have for you is, what's your favorite crop to grow?
Oh gosh.
What's your favorite thing? Chase, I had to assume yours is blueberries.
It used to be blueberries until we ventured into other things. My favorite is either going to be a pomelo, any variety of pomelo, or peaches. La Feliciana peach, June Gold peach. I mean, our peach trees, we put them in the ground, you throw them a little fertilizer, a little water, the next year them things are giving you literally buckets of peaches.
I can't speak highly enough about Feliciana. I absolutely love our tree, and it's loaded this year.
Yep, I love my Felicia. I don't know, mine's probably peppers. I love growing peppers. Peppers and tomatoes, but I started as, you know, being a market gardener, you know, and selling my produce, and so people in the South always have a hard time growing tomatoes and peppers, and so what took me on that path, even before meeting him, was it's hard growing tomatoes and peppers per se down here, because there's certain varieties of tomatoes that grow down here. Not all tomatoes do well down here. And a lot of people think that peppers, because they're hot, they need to be grown in hot weather. And then they don't realize it's actually a good fall crop.
It is.
And so once you kind of master our weird seasons down here, that's kind of like the challenge I like. And it's kind of like a good reward around it too. But it's just, I don't know.
What's your favorite pepper?
Oh, gosh. My favorite pepper to eat is probably a Jimmy Nardello. My favorite pepper to grow, because the way it looks, is probably a fish pepper.
Fish pepper? Yeah.
And I grow in the nursery.
Variegated?
Yeah, and so in the fall time in the nursery, I have tons now, if you won't be able to see. I actually plant Tabasco peppers all along these raised beds. And so then come fall time, they're so gorgeous, and they're full of color and stuff. And
I planted one Tabasco pepper, and every year for the last 5 years, I've had peppers that I've never planted.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, I think they're just gorgeous too, and they're so easy to grow. Once you kind of realize that you don't expect them in the summertime, don't give up on them and pull them out. Just wait a minute, and come fall, they're just going to start growing like crazy.
Yeah. Now, all right, so you told me what your favorite types are to grow. What really attracts me as an outside person looking in is your citrus varieties that you carry and you sell. Every time someone asks me about citrus, I'm like, go check out Cooper Farms. They've got the widest selection of citrus anywhere around. So
Yeah.
Is citrus something you've really gotten into? Like, you're really cranking up, or you?
Yes, we're trying to mainly specialize in citrus because there's not a lot of citrus varieties that you can go to Lowe's or other nurseries and buy. You'll get a lot of
handful.
Oh,
the handful, 5, 6, 7 different kinds of things. But it's really this in South Alabama here is a very unique climate to where you can grow pretty much any citrus you want. And there's literally hundreds and hundreds of varieties. And there's tons of varieties we don't have, and we don't offer anything, but we're always looking and we're always expanding our citrus operation.
Yes. And I think down here too, everyone down here loves satsumas, but there's so many awesome varieties of satsumas down there. You don't have to just go with just one or your standard one your neighbor has. And me, I love lemons. My favorite citrus tree that we grow, and my favorite citrus tree of all time is Calamonin. And I probably sell more of those now because they're so multi-use, and there's just so many different things out there. Like we said, like more than a Meyer lemon, more than just a sweet kumquat. You know, there's an orange quat. I love orange quats a lot more than I like, a Miwa kumquat. So it's just also about, the same way we want to show people there's more to just a Macintosh apple. There's so much more out there that we can grow.
So you guys have started selling something that I've never heard of, a blood satsuma.
Yep.
And I got excited when I found out there's a blood satsuma. I'm like, I've got to have one of those.
There's almost every citrus variation, and even fruit trees too, if you really think about it, you could possibly think of. I mean, and here's the thing too that I love is if you can't find it, there is a way to breed it on your own and make it yourself. That's how all of these varieties have eventually came up.
That's right.
And when I first started my garden, my biggest passion was my seed saving projects, breeding my tomatoes and my peppers. And it's the same thing for fruit trees and citrus. It takes longer, but you can make anything you want, per se.
Yeah, a landrace variety that you've bred yourself tends to do better always.
Yes, yep. Especially because it's also bred in the climate that you originally want to plant it in.
Yeah, and even if you have a tomato that the first year you take it out of the pack, you plant that seed, and it doesn't do well, if you save those seeds next year, that crop seems to always do better.
It's always so much better. Yes,
because
absolutely.
now it has some type of adaptability.
Absolutely, yeah. And I teach organic gardening in the Gulf Coast classes, and in that class, at the very end of class, I teach everyone how to not just seed save their seeds, but how to bloom bag so there's no cross pollination. How to use a Q-tip or a toothbrush to make sure that you're pollinating what you want, and then people can have their own breeding projects they want. Or if you have, especially down here in the South, it's always, my grandpa used to grow these kind of squash or something, it was the best ever. So I think it's important learning how to also seed save so you can keep these heirloom varieties true and then keep them going.
That's right.
And then also for your own breeding projects too.
Speaking of projects, you guys have some exciting news.
Yes.
You just bought a new piece of plan, or a new piece of property?
Yes, so
Well,
we're
What
moving.
plans are?
So we've got a house, and it's about 3 acres, right up on Highway 59.
So you're going to be moving to the new house?
Well,
No,
we're going to use that for a storefront.
Okay.
We live here on the property. We've got 10 acres here that we live and grow on now. but we're going to be moving 2.8 miles up the road on US Highway 59, State Highway 59, I guess, State Highway 59. And it's a house
roads in
here in
Alabama.
Foley.
Yep.
And we're going to be having a retail portion of the nursery up there. And we're going to be putting up 200-foot greenhouses to start with. Then we'll have shade mats and all kinds of, we're going to have a good native selection, good citrus selection up there. A little bit of everything what we have here will get moved up there. And then that will allow us to free up space here to grow new varieties of things and just more production plants.
Yep.
Now, here's a question for future plans. I know you guys have expanded since
Yes.
you've opened. When you get there, are you still going to be focused on edibles, or are you going to
Yes.
be expanding more into annuals?
So kind of. So as far as annuals go, native plants are my other thing I've always loved.
Okay.
And so here's the thing. In Alabama, you can go to any nursery and you can find sweet olives. You can find hydrangeas. Now, I love these things, and we sell these things here too. But I think it's important to open up your varieties, and also natives are very important. And there's so many beautiful flowering natives out there that we grow on our property and that we know how to propagate. And so I would like to just focus on those for perennials because they benefit our environment. They grow very well down here, and it's something that you're not going to find in all of your other nurseries around here. So that's the plan for, perennials and stuff. And we'll carry, some of the other basic things. I don't get excited about that stuff.
We like stuff you can
But,
eat.
yeah,
We've got three
yeah.
daughters, so we
So,
try to grow
I
stuff
like
we
if
can
you can
feed
eat
them.
it, is it good for my honeybees?
Yeah.
Is it good for the environment?
Right. Okay, I got you.
Yeah.
Yeah, I love being focused on the edibles. That's the reason I've opened up my little backyard nursery, is that I want to offer out southern varieties of apples and pears.
Yes.
And stuff like that nobody else can
Yes.
get at the big box.
Yes, yes. And I think that's important that the more people, like you and us, that's even more of a broader selection too, that's even out there. Because, we want to say that we can do it all, and we try to, but it's also nice working with, someone else who's maybe like how you talked about what you have for plans in the future, that we don't have the time to propagate,
Right.
So the more people we have in on this and who are excited about edibles, it's the better business that we get too. And also, if I'm going to use, and the thing with this too is, land is the only thing you can't make more of.
Right.
And so when it comes to planting fruit trees and having your yard space, it's valuable real estate.
Yep.
So if you're going to choose to plant a, I don't know, something, I don't want to offend you once, I'm not going to say a specific name, or, a pepper plant or an apple tree per se, or, citrus tree, I'm always going to go to something that's going to benefit me.
Right.
Or my environment, or my honeybees.
Yeah, there are a lot of people that want just the pretty azalea that they never have
Yes,
to do anything
this,
with.
yes. And the native azaleas are so much prettier. The native azaleas are gorgeous, just that they don't put on the leaves 24/7. So a lot of people will look in the wintertime, just these sticks, and they can't imagine, what they look like when they start blooming.
Yeah.
Nothing against azaleas, just the native ones are gorgeous. They're orange, and there's yellow ones, and there's some that look like, frilly little phlox flowers, and there's all sorts of varieties.
So the next follow-up question is, a lot of people want to know, what's going to happen with this property when you open up your storefront?
Well, like I said before, we live here and everything, so we're gonna, still live here, grow here. We're actually gonna be putting about 4 more greenhouses up here to increase production, and we're gonna be starting to offer wholesale more than what we do now, because now we've just got a few wholesale customers, but basically just open up more grow space. We're still gonna grow here. We've got
Grow here, sell there.
Grow here, sell up on 59.
Separate our home life. So when I close the gates to the retail location, I'm done for the day.
Then you come home
And
work.
I can have my yard
Come
back.
home and work here.
Yeah, because right now our front yard, side yard, backyard is full of nothing but
Nothing
grow
but
mats.
plants.
Literally nothing but grow mats back there. So it's going to be nice that maybe our kids can have a larger section of yard too now, because we're able to move everything up here and separate our house back there. So it's just going to be great for the whole family all the way around.
Oh, great.
What's your new address?
That's 14608 Highway 59.
And we're going to try and get moved there by what? June? July, maybe? We're trying.
Hoping to be up there in the next month.
We're trying. We're
We've
the
got
little
a lot
people.
of
We
work
move as
to do.
fast as we can, but slow too. So we'll get there.
Our
website.
We've got
www.cooperfarmalabama.com.
We're also on Facebook. We've got TikTok, Instagram.
Instagram is Cooper Farm Alabama, and then TikTok is Cooper Farm, and then the Facebook, I think it's just Cooper Farm.
Yep, you can find us on Facebook just by searching Cooper Farm, and
Oh, and then on our
Our-
website, you can scroll down to the bottom and you can subscribe, and we send out newsletters and stuff, updates of availability. We always have tons of events and classes, gardening classes. We have a nonprofit. We give out free food and stuff, so we post those events on there.
and our phone number is 251-979-4852.
Yeah, it was really fun. Let's do it again.
Like
All right, guys, so
answers.
if you're within a driving distance of Foley, Alabama, come by and see Cooper Farms. See what they've got. They got an amazing inventory of rare fruits that I'm sure they can hook you up with, that whatever grows in your area. So look them up on their Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, and their website that we just gave you. And give them a ring. Come out and see what they got. Hope you enjoyed the video. Remember, keep growing, keep building, and always keep adventuring. And together, we're Farmington Famous. We'll see you next time.